75 hard is going to show you so many different things, but you have to be willing to accept them into what you're trying to do on a day-to-day basis. And the more that you can do that, the more that you can take the disciplines, the self-confidence, the habits that you create during this program, like you can apply it to everything.
You can.
Like it's so helpful. And that was my story. I think that was the biggest thing this last time. I was like, dang, like I probably look like an insane person, but I don't care.
You learn you don't care. Like you said, you don't care what people think of you. You're getting your shit done regardless of what anybody says. You learn that you can still enjoy your life while living these standards. I mean, between the books I read in the program, you learn to not take people's shit, and you understand what are excuses. I mean, this is only me going through it once, and I'm already feeling these ways.
Yeah.
Like, I don't accept people's excuses anymore, which is why I have a lot harder time tolerating things now.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode at the Round Table. Here, my brother Dustin.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on, brother?
Had a pretty good weekend.
We did, dude. You blew my daughter's mind. She thinks she's Taylor Swift now, so.
That's awesome. I asked my girls, I said, so which was the bigger surprise, the game or GAM? Of course, Aspen goes, GAM.
Oh, man. I wish.
Mace goes, both.
I wish I had recorded the interaction, man. It was so like cute, dude. Just watching them freak out and
I know
hugs all around, and I got some of the videos of them dancing outside and pictures, and
I know.
Even though it was cold, they were totally in the zone, just enjoying life.
They had a lot of fun right there at the beginning.
It was fun, man. I appreciate you inviting us. So.
Yeah, I'm glad you could come.
Yeah, it was super.
Glad I had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, it was super fun, man. I've never been in a box before, so.
That was my second time, but they're interesting. They're fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And if it's cold, you can still enjoy it.
Yeah, that was the best part.
I was looking at everybody else. I was like, dang, dude, I don't know how these people are still in these stands, man. It's freezing today.
Oh, I told you, if we'd have walked in there and it had been down there and it would have been cold, or if we'd have known we'd had to be outside, Soph would have been like, no, I'm good. Let's go home.
Yeah, we're out. Peace.
We're out. Sorry, girls. It's too cold.
And then I won something.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's funny because I think we were talking or something, or I was watching something. You're like, they just called your name, and I'm like, huh?
Yeah,
they just said your name.
I was like, hold on, did they really say that? Because it said, you're Prado. And
yeah.
I'm like, did they really say that? Oh, that was funny.
That was a good time. Overall, like it was super fun, man. And thank you for taking us out.
It was a good time. Sucks they lost though. They had it. They freaking had it till the end too.
They blew it, dude.
They really did.
I was like, oh, we're gonna win.
Yeah,
good.
I was all excited. I was like, sweet, the U's gonna win. Let's go. No, that sucked.
Wasn't.
Yeah, they brought their A game in the 9th, and the Utes did not.
Yep. You gotta finish strong.
Yep.
Finish strong. So, all right, dude. What are we gonna do today?
Talk about our 75 hard experiences and our journeys.
Some good stories for sure. So I'm excited for this one. I'm excited for all of them, but this one's fun because you just wrapped up. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And I have a surprise for you, but I don't have it today.
Oh,
so I'll give it to you on the next pod.
All right.
You
didn't have to do that, but
I know. But yeah, congratulations, man. You killed it. I'm proud of you. You're setting the tone, so that's what you need to do. So it was good. So let's start off there because you're just wrapping up.
It feels weird to not be on it, honestly.
Today is your second day.
Second day. It feels weird to not be on it.
So let's start off from the very beginning because 75 hard is a big encompassing kind of thing, right? It's a program. Then you got the podcast, and then you got the fitness stuff that you got to kind of do. And so let's start because I didn't know about Andy till I got it from you. And we briefly talked about this prior to this, but just so the viewers know. So where did you end up hearing about Andy? And
so if I remember right, because this was, I've been listening to him for 4 or 5 years now. I think it was 4 years. It was sometime in 2020 because I started listening to him around then. But I think one of my buddies sent it to me. It's like, hey, you should check this out. Just he's like, these guys are hilarious. And I'm like, all right. Start listening to them, and yeah, some of them just made me laugh. And then I don't remember what episode I even would have shared with you.
I bet you can go back and look.
You probably can. I set my history to delete after a year, so I don't think I have it anymore.
Bet you I can.
But yeah, it's just we started connecting on like a growth thing.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I just started. Was like, hey, you got to check this out. You got to check this guy out. Like he's got a lot of good conversations, a lot of good nuggets. He's grown a lot, and he continues to. Like I think he's a great listen to.
Do you remember the first one you listened to?
I wish I could. No.
Because I, for some reason, thought that Andy was the reason that because I remember you told me about So Story, and I won't share the full details of it, but
yeah, we got to get her on
that
to hear
situation
that story.
and what had happened, and I thought that was the pod, but I think
no, that one was from Keaton.
Okay.
That one was definitely Keaton, and she, let her share the whole story. We'll have her on here soon, but yeah, it was in that realm, and I don't remember why I ever started listening to him, but I mean, I'm glad I did. But I remember thinking for the longest time, oh man, 75 hard's gonna be, the water and the food. That's what's gonna kill me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't mind the workouts. Like I can do that. Progress picture. Like I mean, I didn't understand it until probably 25 days in, 30 days in when I did a first side by side. I'm like it's hard to think back when you don't think about that anymore, when you don't think that way anymore. Because like at the beginning, I'm like, I don't understand why you need to have a progress picture. Like I understood the no cheat meals, the no alcohol. Like I understood that, and I kept thinking this whole time, because I've heard about it for 4 years now, 3, because it's been out for 5, he said. I've heard him talk about it a few times. It's been 5 years, one of the biggest mental toughness programs out there. And I'm like, man, I don't understand. Like, well, I understand. Okay, let me rephrase that. But I'm like, I'm going to struggle with the water and the food. I know I am. I just know I am. Because at the time I wasn't eating very good. I wasn't drinking enough water, period. Like, having all these problems with that. So I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do that. So that's what took me so long to decide to start it. Because I needed to really, like, mentally change my mind, because I knew I wasn't in a good mindset. So that took me forever to start. I wish I'd have done it a few years ago, but
timing's everything, man.
It is.
This is what it is. But I thank you for sending him to me, because I don't think I've ever would have. Well, I guess eventually I'm sure he probably would have came up at some feed, but I'm glad to say that we got him fairly early. I think he was still doing MFCEO at the time.
I think it was right about MFCEO switched to RealAF.
Yeah,
was right about when the change happened.
Yeah, and I started listening to him, and I just liked his style, man. Just being like, his podcast is RealAF, right? And we were just literally talking about my buddy, and I'm attracted to that. Dudes that are just straight up, just tell you what it is, and yeah, man. I just listened to his pod, and then I was like, I got to go back. So I just went back all the way to number 1, and then just started going up.
I did that for a minute, and I'm probably even gonna have to do that again, because
they're awesome, dude.
I've listened to probably, I think he's got 500 episodes of RealAF or something like that.
Oh, wow.
No, he's got 600, because I'm pretty sure I just saw 666 the other day. I'm pretty positive that he just had he's in the 600s, almost 660 probably. And I've listened to probably 630 of them, maybe.
Wow.
Maybe 600. I've obviously very religiously listened to all of his RealAF. There was a time where I didn't listen to the CTI, but it wasn't that I didn't want to learn from him. It was that my mental was so bad that it made it worse to listen to. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I need to pull back, and I need a structure on working on myself before I can start opening up to realize to understand more of what's going on in the world.
Right.
So that was a really rough period.
Is during
during like my
Yeah.
height of like the COVID and height of my like when depression like really sunk in for me and everything. So I'm like, I gotta pull back. So I was realizing I was getting more and more angry, and I'm like, hey, I appreciate the knowledge coming from you, but I need to pull back from that
Mm,
for my own mental sake.
okay. That's yeah. That's when we, because if you heard him around that time, because that's when you sent him
Yeah.
to me, and I know it was during COVID, because I've gone back and I started kind of looking at photos and when I started and the first 75 hard round, and it was 2020.
Well, we had,
So
because we'd started the gym in 2020,
yep,
August of 2020 when EOS opened.
right.
And that's when we'd started. So I think that's when we went somewhere around there was probably when I sent you an episode.
It must have been. I'll go back after. We'll hit it on the next podcast or whatever. But I know that I just remember you whatever you sent me must have resonated
Yeah.
super clear, because I was hooked right on day one, and I started listening to everything that he had, as much information, and started kind of looking him up, and found out that he was like super successful, and owned a huge supplemental business, and had written books, kids books, and then 75 hard. And I don't know if you'd had the book at that time.
Yeah. I know. When did I can't remember. I'm pretty sure my wife bought it for me at some point because I'd been talking about it and she surprised me with it.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't buy, to be honest, I didn't buy the book till this year.
Yeah.
And even when I decided to start the 75 hard, I listened to his pod, and that tells you everything. And I was like, oh, I don't need to buy a book then. Everything that I need is in this podcast. So I listened to it.
Episode 208.
Yep. And
Heard it enough and listened to it quite a bit myself. So
yeah, and he always refers back to
Yep.
it when he mentions it. So yeah, I think if because people would ask me when I was doing the program, they're like, what do I do? I was like, 208, here you go, bang. And then I was gonna hit on this because he always hits on it, right? Share the show. If you would have shared the show, I would have never known about it. And a lot of the people that have asked me now that either are doing it or are looking into Andy, they know it because we share the show. So it's funny that he says that, and his slogan, I think, is freaking awesome.
It's hilarious.
It really is. But
and my I've tried to share on social, but I'm like I don't have a lot of traction on there. So I try. But if there's one that really resonates with me, I'll post it up there. So if for whatever reason you happen to see this, we definitely share it. It just might be the individual contacts.
yeah, it's our little group of 200-300 people that
Yeah,
probably
it's-
hate us posting, every single week about Andy. But how people are like, oh, here he goes again. But
Yep.
it's because they know that it's true, and they don't want to sit there and hear the
Yep.
truth sometimes. So
So you've done the first. You did 75 hard through. You did up to phase 2, didn't you?
I'd finished. I failed phase 1.
Failed phase 1.
I
Okay.
failed.
But your first go around, I remember you telling me after, and this was only after you did your second set of 75, that the first one you didn't get quite as much out of.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely an experience for sure. And I was actually going to tell you, I was like, we should go. I don't know if you took notes.
No, I didn't. I really didn't take many notes.
I didn't take
at all.
notes the first time, so I'm not going to say anything about it. But I will cover the second one notes eventually. But the first one, yeah, the first one was great because I don't remember what I was at the time. But I had just lost a good amount of weight. I think I was close to 280 at the time, and then we started going to the gym, and I'd seen some progress. I got to like 230 something, and I was like, okay, I want to take it to the next level, because I feel good if I'm around like 200, 190, somewhere in there. I feel fairly good, so I was like, I got to get there, and usually that stretch of it is usually the hardest for me, and so I was like, I just got to do something. And then I ran across the program, kind of heard what it was doing. I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. I just want to do something. And at the time, I'd done so many things. I'd done so many diets. I'd done so many programs. And I was like, I just want to complete something. I think we've talked about this. I just want to get something done. And so I did it. And it was during the summer, I think. I don't remember when exactly it was. I want to say it was
I feel
like,
like it was.
yeah, it was like right at the tail end of summer or like right at somewhere in the middle into like, because I finished, the first one was, yeah, it was because I finished in November, the day before Thanksgiving. So whatever 75 backtrack
Okay.
that's when it was. And it was good. It was great. Like I lost a lot of weight. I, started kind of building those habits, but then the second time around, it was totally different because I kind of knew what to expect. So I was way better at prioritizing certain things. And the first time I was like, it was all about just getting it done. I just want to get it done. And so the next day, I goes, I'm going to celebrate. And then I went to go get like a pizza or something like that. And so the mindset wasn't all the way there. It still, like, I was like, oh, I'm going to go do this and go back to, doing what I wanted to do. But the good thing was like, I did that. And then I was like, I remember him saying like, take 2 days. If you're going to fall for 2 days or whatever at the max, and then scale it right back and just start back up. And so I did that. And then the second one, how many have I done now? 2, 3?
I think you've only done 2 that I know of. But you did start into phase 1. I remember that.
Yeah. I'll have to look. I think I did. I failed a few. Since that point, since the first one, I did it. I know I did it a few times. And I think the thing too, it's so easy to lie to yourself.
It is.
And just like, oh, I did it.
It is.
But I just, I knew that it wouldn't get me what I want. 1, 2,
well, and that's
3. So I did 3 and then a couple failed ones. There's a lot of failed ones in here.
well, that's
Wow.
what.
Okay, I didn't know that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I didn't know. I only knew of the 2. I didn't know you've done it 3 times, but
Yeah, I failed. I completed it twice.
okay. So then I
Or
did know
1,
about those ones.
2, 3. I've completed it 3 times. 1.
This is how you
4.
guys. This is how you guys know this is.
Yeah,
like,
this is raw, guys.
There's no.
So 4. I completed it 4 times.
Okay. See, I knew about 2 of the 4 then.
So the first one too was like, to be honest, a lot of it was like my ego, like we talked about before. I really wanted that almost that attention. People like, oh, I'm doing something, guys. Look at me, look at me.
Yeah.
And so, that's why I don't feel like I got as much out of it the first time, because I wanted like that note that.
Well, that stamp of approval.
Yeah, and so it was good, but it wasn't as good as the second time. So, but yeah, that was kind of and then I'll get into stories because I want to share with you kind of some of the things that I went through. The first time, that obviously the hardest part, same with you, was the water.
Yeah.
The water and the eating part are, to be honest, the same. And the working out, like, you can figure it out. You can, if you're smart, you can get it in whenever. I was doing workouts early in the morning. We were working out at 4, at the time 4:30, and then I would just figure it out something later in the day. And pretty simple, right? But the water in the beginning was like, this is a lot of freaking water. Like,
Yeah.
I had to plan my days around when I'm gonna go take a piss, because I'm like, dude, if I gotta go, like, I'd take my walks and I'd jump into a bush somewhere and be like, I gotta, like, there's nothing I can do. If I was leaving, I had to know what stores I could use the bathrooms at. I swear people are like, this guy's like a homeless dude just walking in and peeing and then leaving. Like, I knew where all the bathrooms were, dude. Like, I was like,
It's crazy how at the beginning that was definitely how I definitely felt that way at the beginning. I was like, man, I gotta. But towards the end, I mean, I was still like, my biggest takeaway from it is I was still terrible with my water. Like, I still hit my gallon, but there was nights I was chugging 38 ounces before I go to sleep. So like, I knew, like, the day just got away, and it was generally the weekends, Fridays, Saturdays, that I'm like, shit, man, it's 2:00 in the afternoon and I've had 16 ounces of water, or I haven't had much because my normal schedule's thrown off. So I'd struggle with those, like even yesterday, like, I mean, first day off, I didn't my wife and I talked, and we don't eat a lot of like nasty food. Like, but even everything I thought of, I was like, no, like
You're
I'm
good.
not going to. I mean, we'll go more into that story. That's the end of the story. But you know, it's the water. Yeah, and right at the beginning, I'm like, man, I gotta pee every freaking 5 seconds. This sucks. But when you go from drinking like, you know, 40 ounces maybe a day to, you know, an entire gallon, 128 ounces, like
Mm-hmm.
it's a huge change to your body.
Yeah.
And then you're like, how am I going to, I can't drink anything else. But you find a way. It's not, I mean,
Once the awesome thing about our bodies is it adapts to everything we start doing at some point.
yeah.
You start, it gets in a rhythm. It's like, oh, okay, we are doing this. Like we are drinking this much water, and it doesn't get by any means any easier,
No.
but it just mentally too. You kind of get prepared because the first time, yeah, it was horrible. I hated having to, especially when which we talked about. We've talked
Right.
about before when you procrastinate
Yep.
and it's like 10 and you're like, dang, dude, I got a whole freaking 40 ounces to drink still. Glug, 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 glug. Well, there goes my night because I'm going to be getting up 4 or 5 times to go piss
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And so I did that multiple times. Where I'm like, I'm going to regret this, but I got to get it done. So let's chug it down.
So seeing as how you said you failed a few, what were the, just a quick, like, what were the reasons? Do you remember? Like food, water,
Oh, I'm sure.
workout,
I know that a lot of it, yeah, I was diet,
stuff.
the eating stuff. I know I felt it once for not reading. I fell asleep and then ended up waking up in the middle of the night and I was like, I didn't read. And
And see, that's
I was reading, but I fell asleep reading, and I couldn't bear with myself if I would have lied. I'd be like, oh, well, I tried. I was reading, and no, I didn't read.
see, I think there's a mild difference because like I'll nap, but I had most all of my stuff done every single night before I like would lay down for bed.
Right.
It was like water that I'd have left or something. But I mean, I would generally try to read earlier in the day because I would do the same shit or I'd fall asleep. There's a story of like day 71 I have to tell towards the end
Okay.
because I woke up pissed as hell.
Yeah.
I was close. I was very close that day.
Okay.
So, but so throughout your journey, what was since I know your second one changed you a lot, how much of those habits do you still have, do you think? Or how much of those habits are you still doing? I know the water because I see you with your water all the time.
Yeah. The water, the workout. I don't do 2 workouts. I only work out once. But what I've started trying to do is instead of doing the 45 minutes, a second workout, technically I'm working out, adding that 45 minutes cardio, just walking on the treadmill before or after my workout. So I started that last week where I just want to I'll take a little more time at the gym, right? But I do that 45 minutes of just walking on the treadmill, try to get my, 15,000 steps a day. And then I'll, I usually wrap that up with my workout, I'll just hit the treadmill in 45 minutes. And so that's kind of the only thing. And then I still do the water. I still eat fairly clean and try not to, it's kind of the same thing, right? I mean, we have our cheat meals here and there. We'll all be like, oh, I'm going to go and have a pizza or something. But besides that, it's a lot different from what I used to look at. Because like, oh, I want pizza. And then I'll have a pizza and have another pizza.
But
and I could eat a whole fucking pizza.
I was going to say, but I bet the difference is you look at it and you have maybe 1 or 2 slices versus 10.
Exactly. Or I'll be like, well, if I'm going to have a pizza, then I'm not getting dessert. Or,
Yeah.
So it's like, it's more of like and then I'm also looking at macros all the fucking time. So I'm like, okay, this pizza might not be as tasteful, but it's a little
healthier.
It's a little healthier. So,
That makes me want a pizza my wife makes.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a healthy pizza, but it has like shit for protein in it, but
Okay.
it's really freaking good.
Pizza's like
It's a spicy
it's my
type
kryptonite,
pizza.
dude. That's pizza and chips. I could probably live off of that for the rest of my life.
It's a spicy type pizza. It's really good.
Spicy?
Yeah, spicy Thai pizza. It's really good.
Oh, Thai. I think
Yeah.
you're saying type.
No,
Thai. Okay.
it's
like-
really good.
Okay. Yeah. have to try that.
Yeah,
Spicy. Okay.
it's really good.
Um. So back on you though. Like, what is it that? Okay, so let's jump onto you because I want to get your mindset. You're fresh.
Okay.
I'm what 3-4 months out of it. So what? First of all, what made you do it? Because you've been around it for, you said 5 years. You've at least known about it.
About 4 years.
So
So
what made you want to start the program?
a lot of this goes back to Keaton's Limitless event, to be completely honest. Like, there was so many selfish reasons I wanted to go to that event. You know, some of it was just to see Andy talk, period. Like, Grover, Andy, Ed, just to talk. But what I didn't know was the experience I was going to leave with, especially through Grover's. The way he talked, that speech freaking blew my mind. Like, so at that point, I was like, hey, I need to make a change in my life. So that's when I started pushing myself harder at the gym after that. Because I use the first format to track and do workouts. And I started that in August because I was like, I need something different, man. Like, you'd given me some awesome programs, and I'm like, I just need something different. I feel like I need more structure. You know, I'm that guy that like needs more structure in his life and stuff, even though I want to do what I want. It's weird. But so I'm like, all right, start the first form app. And then after we went to that event that Monday, I'm like, this is step 2. Like, I'm hitting the gym harder. You know, going through, listening to, doing everything that we did. God, that was a year and a half ago. No, that was only 6 to 8 months ago, huh?
Which part?
The Limitless event. Because that was September of this year. What, last year, wasn't it?
Last
2023. Year. Okay, so then we went on our cruise and still did pretty good with everything. But I'm like, and then, you know, my dog passes away. My wife is having a surgery. And I'm like, I need a change. I can't stay this way forever. I need a change. This has been something I've been considering for a long time, and started reading Jim Quick's book about, you know, the limitless mindset. And I'm like, okay, something needs to change. And I'm like, 75 hard. Let's do it. You know, he was starting January 1st, and I'm sure 100,000 plus other people were. I'm like, let's just go. Like, done, start. And so I needed a mindset change. To answer the question, the reason I did it was I needed a mindset change, and I knew this was going to do something for me. So I'm like, I need that mindset change. Let's do it. Committed to it. Talked to my wife, and she's like, okay, like, we might not join you on your outdoors. I'm like, I know. Well, let's go. I do it. She's like, okay, set yourself up and get going. I'm like, okay. So that was it. It was just simply to change. I knew my life couldn't stay the same, and I'm tired. And I was tired of how it was going. Like, I need that next push, that next step, that next hard thing. And at first, I'm like, okay, I'm used to working out in the mornings, not a big deal. That was easy. You know, the outdoors, we'd been doing them on and off, so I'm like, this isn't too bad. The water, I'm like, okay, as long as I pace myself, like, I'm not the guy that can have a 40-ounce jug next to me because that's intimidating if for some reason. So I stuck with the smaller, like 28-ounce cups, and I'm like, okay, I can drink these. You know, luckily work has a really good water, you know, has water filters and, you know, water system. So I'm like, I can refill it, not a big deal. And I was worried about the weekends. I'm like, how are the weekends going to go? Like, this is going to be hard. And my wife did most of it. She's never going to claim that she did it, but she did most of it. Where she's eating a lot cleaner, drinking the water, reading the 10 pages a day, and her workouts are like you're doing now. They're an hour and a half long 99% of the time. Right. So she's doing all of it. The only thing she really didn't do was the outdoor. I mean, neither of us really drink, so that wasn't hard for either of us to change. So having her kind of do it with me was a little bit helpful because we could talk about it. Oh, where are you at with your protein today? Oh, where are you at with your water? Did you read your 10 pages? You know, and her even like, hey, and I thank her very much because there's a lot of times where I'm like, looking at her schedule and I'm like, man, I'm not going to be able to go walk till 9. She's like, it's fine. Go get your walk done. You know, I can deal with the girls and work at the same time. They've been pretty good. All the clients are good with them. So any of my wife's clients see this, thank you guys for being so kind and generous towards my family. I greatly love and appreciate that about you guys. Shout out to all of them and my wife too, because there was a lot of times where I wouldn't have been able to walk till like 9 at night, which would have been fine. But it was nice that I had that option to come home, get my kids some dinner, and then go get my walk done and still have time with my wife to enjoy time with her.
Mm.
And then if she could, or, the weather was nice enough, she'd be like, okay, let's go out. Like, I'll go on a walk with you. Like, that's not a big deal. So that was nice. I think there was one or two times. I think we went on one. I hit you up midway through and was like, hey, you want to go for a ruck? It was a Friday.
Probably, yeah.
And because we went and walked this trail.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, you're right.
But that was the big thing, is like, I just need a mindset change. And I've been thinking about it for so long. And I'm like, if all I'm ever doing is thinking, am I ever going to accomplish anything? And the answer was no. So I just started. And one of the big key things that I think helped me out a lot was I did not pay attention to what day it was. I paid attention to what day I was working on. I paid attention to what goals I was doing that day. And 99% of the time when people would ask, I'd be like, hold on, what day is, well, I was like, I don't know, what's today? Oh, it's January 20th. I'm like, okay, I'm on day 20.
Right.
Or they're like, oh, it's March 1st. What day are you on? 61. They're like, when's your end date? I'm like, the 15th. But I wasn't paying attention to what day it was. It was always not like, oh yeah, I'm on day 3. I'm on day 4. Because that just seemed daunting as hell to me to think about it that way. It was just, well, it's day 1. Let's go. It's another day. Get up and do it. And the habits just became habit to the point that sometimes I had to step back and be like, shit, did I even do that? Like, I was going through all my progress pictures yesterday, and I'm like, okay. I posted that I'd finished it, and I started going through, and I was like, oh shit, where's this picture? Like, I'm pretty sure I know I did this shit. I know I took the damn picture. And going through and like, so my heart started skipping yesterday morning when I'm scrolling through this shit, trying to scrolling through my progress photos, which, guys, I will post them. I post them to my page, but I'll post them on the round table too, so you guys can see too, if you're just following that page. But going through and I'm like, holy shit, like, did I miss a day? And I'm like, there's no fucking way going back through my photos. And I mean, I didn't. I did everything. I hit every task that I wanted to. I did everything. There was one day towards the end where what I would do is, if I had water left, like if I had, I don't know, let's say I had 16 ounces left to drink that day, I'd generally put 18 in my cup. Just get that 2 more. Just a little bit more to make sure I cleared. I was above 128 ounces, which is a gallon. Just to be 100% certain that I did that. So I did that quite often, whereas like, okay, do my calculation. I'm like, cool, I got 16 ounces, which I got sitting next to me. I'm like, I got that left, so I'll go fill my cup up to 18 and down that. 90% of the time it's right before I went to bed. But that was definitely why I started, and my mindset through the whole thing was, it's just today.
Right.
So.
No, that's a good reason. And for me, like I said, it was I wanted to get something done, and it was also during the COVID time.
I had nothing better to do.
It was just, shit was getting weird, man. People were doing nothing. I was like, I don't want to just do nothing. Like, people were sitting at home.
Okay.
I was working from home. Like, I was like, dude, like, this is, my mindset's slipping. Like, I was getting dark.
Yep.
And it felt right. It all clicked. And I remember going on walks, like doing my rucks. And my gosh, dude, like, listening to, and like, when I tell you I listened to Andy, like, episode 1, that's all I would listen to. There was no music, very little music. I wouldn't say none, but there was very little music. we were at the gym, I was listening to Andy, or I was listening to Goggins, or I would put a little bit of music and then go back to Goggins. I had a legit YouTube playlist that was just Goggins yelling at you, telling you to stop being a pussy and all this stuff, and stop being a bitch, and blah 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 blah. And I would put that on repeat, and I started listening to some of their Goggins stuff too. Again, more different other stuff, and he was like, "You don't need motivation. There should be." And I'm like, "Oh dang! So what am I supposed to do?" Because it was helping me. It was like the stuff that they were talking about, and then also during the COVID time, like everything Andy was saying, I was like, "This is like resonating." Like, and it wasn't even like he was saying it during COVID. It was just stuff that he'd said years before that.
It's crazy how accurate he's been about most everything that's gone on too.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't. I don't, because I honestly don't. A lot of the MFCEO stuff is like mindset stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like,
But even all the mindset, like you start listening to, you start paying attention to any of the greats. This is their freaking mindset. Like, you look at the people that are, they might run these multi-million-dollar companies, but you start thinking about it and you're like, you might not be in that right mindset, buddy.
yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
So, but, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I got a question for you. When you finish the program, and even now to this point, when you walk around stores and stuff, this hit me really hard yesterday. The box store I walked into, I just started looking around and I was like, what a bunch of sad people. Like, they don't have control of their lives. The way they're shopping, the way they look, the way they're dressed, I feel like I'm coming across as an asshole here, but
I know what you're trying to say.
It's just, you start looking at it, and I'm not saying I dress the best, but I'm like, man, these people, like, it's no wonder we're where we're at.
The problem is that people aren't aware.
Yeah.
People try to.
Well, they claim to be happy.
Yeah, they use the excuse that I'm good. This is the problem. Is people kill their dreams. Let's just be real. And I've learned this through being around the association that I am around. Is what and people end up doing is that you grow up, you have a big dream, right? You dream of. Nobody grew up. No boy, when they grew up, had a minivan posted on their wall and said, "I want that dream car when I grow up."
No.
But there's a lot of guys out here, no offense to minivans, but I'm just saying, if you could choose any car, you probably wouldn't choose that one unless it was utility used, like you need it.
But no Ferraris, Lambos, Rolls Royces. Yeah, definitely.
So what ends up happening is that, to be honest, you just shrink your dreams to whatever you feel like you can accomplish. And so then you don't accomplish anything. So then you're like, well, I'll settle for this.
Yep.
So people settle for having a mediocre life, whether it be in their fitness, in their spiritual, in their relationship with their spouse. They settle for that mediocrity, and then they blame everybody else because they're not where they want to be, or they don't have the body they want. Well, you have to be aware that, guess what? You're not up to par where you want to be, and you need to be okay with getting uncomfortable, which we talked last week, to do something about it.
Yep.
And people don't want to do that. So I get what you're saying. It is true, because you do have that mindset where you can look at somebody else like, well, why aren't you can? But then they'll come up with an excuse, right? We've talked about this. We've talked about this with your wife. We've talked about with my wife. They've been through a lot of different things, and people will judge them on, well, why it's easier for you because of blah 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 blah. Pick your excuse. No. They're choosing. We are choosing to do these things, and it's not any easier for me than it would be for you.
Right.
You just are saying that because you don't want to do the work. So I get what you're saying.
I hadn't put that realization and thought together until I'd walked into the store yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, looking at everything, I was just like, and it wasn't my normal store. It wasn't where I normally shop anyways. I was getting food and I had more time, so I ran in there just to kill some time rather than sitting in my truck. get some more steps in. And I'm like, damn, I got to get the hell out of the store.
That's because it doesn't match who you are.
Yeah, I'm
You know
like,
what I mean?
yeah, I'm not, I'm out.
I think I know what you're talking about, but
Yeah, we can talk about it off, but the food I was waiting for was worth it. It was damn good, but
yeah.
there was that realization, like having, to me at least, having a partner that wanted to be a part of it and be with you in a lot of it was super helpful too, to be honest. Like having her being like, hey, have you read? Hey, like, we went to Jeff Dunham towards the end of my 75, and she's like, okay, what do we got to do to get your food? What do we got to do to get your water? Like, make sure, did you read? Did you get this done? And I mean, I have the time, and I'm like, well, I'm leaving work early, I don't want to do it at 11 o'clock at night. So, I mean, I'll be honest, I left work early. I went home, I did my walk, I did my reading, I finished drinking my water, did all my stuff so that I didn't have to worry about it. Like, I didn't.
The moral of the story is that we got freaking amazing wives.
Yes, we do.
Like, we really do. Like, because I felt the same way when I finished my first round. I was super emotional. Like, I was alone. My wife was at work. I made the post. But it's a lot.
It is.
Because
it's a lot on them.
You remember, like, I started thinking back, and even when I think you and I think Luis, because you guys didn't have to show up. Like, you guys were going to the gym anyways, but I saw it as like support. Like, we were holding each other accountable, whether it was a said thing or not. Like, I knew you were showing up, so I had to show up. And to be honest, like, the same thing. Like, my wife wouldn't. We would work things around our, like, she'd be like, oh, baby, like, okay, we're going to go on Saturday. Like, what time are you going to do this? So we were having those conversations. So it'd been easier for, like, well, we're going here, so I don't know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be able to figure, like, no, she was like, or we would go on walks together.
Yeah.
And Gamma would be like, oh, well, like, why are we going further? Well, because Dad needs to get, at least 45 minutes in, so we got to walk further this time. And I don't know, man. It's crazy when you start thinking about it, because they're super supportive. Like, they got your back. Like, what more do you want?
Right.
What more can you ask for? It's the Shia LaBeouf thing. Like, they show up when
we don't deserve it.
Yeah. So.
No, it was. There was a lot of times, and that was one thing that, like, and I think he said it, but I still lived my life like while we were doing it. Like, granted, we didn't eat out as much, but I was fine if she wanted to eat something. I'd be like, that's fine, I'll go here. We know our more healthy places to eat, so that's where we would choose. Okay, hey, these, and there's a handful of them that we have, and it's like, okay, hey, let's go hit here, let's go hit here, let's go hit here. Cool, done. We know what we're doing. But and then we'd go to get-togethers. Like, my daughter's birthday was 15-day party. Daughter's birthday parties were 15 days into the whole program. Donuts, candy, and we don't give our kids that stuff all the time, but donuts, candy, and I'm good. I got my protein bar over here. I got my water. I'm good. I don't need to eat that. Go to friends get together, Super Bowl parties. We didn't go to the Super Bowl party of any kind, actually, but any get-togethers. This, or friends are having a party. Cake and ice cream. No, I'm good. And the people that we were going to get-togethers and stuff with were respectful of what I'm doing. They're not like, no, you need to eat this. No, come on,
drink this, bro. Come on.
They're like, no, cool, dude. Good for you. Like, I'm happy for you. Like the last party we went to towards the end, everybody was drinking except the wife and I, and they're like, you guys sure? We're like, yeah, I'm good. They're like, well, there's food if you want it. Like, I'm like, no, I appreciate you guys. Like, and they're, we're talking. She's like, wife's like, he's, on 75 towards the end, and they're like, oh, that's cool. Like, power to you, man. Like, that's awesome.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm not going to hide in my house, because that's not going to benefit me either. I need to get out there, and I need to enjoy my life, because I need to learn those habits just as much.
Yeah, you can't put yourself in a box. You can't isolate yourself and think that you're going to be able to take these habits, because that's the biggest thing is you need to be able to take the habits that you're doing now and still live your life. And then if you, because what ends up happening is in phase one, you add your powerless and you do all these other tasks that
Yep.
push you mentally and physically. But the thing is to also like, okay, say you don't want to work out twice a day. What you now have 45 minutes that you know you could do something, whether it be productive to work on your business,
Yep.
to start a business, to you spend more time with your family, to finish projects, whatever it might be. That's the thing you need to be looking at. Like, and people don't understand that. They were like, oh, I'm zoned in, cutting everything out. Like, that's not going to work. That's
No.
not sustainable for the rest of your life. Like,
No.
you need to build the business. You need to do a job if you're working a job, have family time. Like, all these things matter. You got to just live your life
Yeah.
and then put the program in there and prioritize it because it should be a priority for you.
I mean, that's a really good point because now that I have that extra time, I mean, when it's nice, I definitely want to go for walks. Like, I think we're going for one later today, just around the school parking lot or
Right.
something while the girls play, just so we can get some cardio in. But,
Yeah.
at this point, it's like, okay, I'd like to still hit the 7 days a week, at least the gym or something on day 7, which is today, walk, gym, something. But I am and should take that extra 45 minutes at night. Maybe just sit down with the kids, hang out with them, or, once it gets nicer weather, get their bikes out and spend 45 minutes riding their bikes around with them, trying to get them used to no training wheels and stuff. Like,
Right.
why not start taking advantage of your life? Like, that's the biggest thing.
You have to. What was one of the hardest moments, I guess? What was a difficult moment?
So anytime like I know we talked about it on the last episode that should be airing tomorrow. I say that as if you guys know what tomorrow is, but
So tomorrow's is depression.
yeah.
So the
We'll
one we
air-
did last week will air
Yeah.
a week from
Yeah.
tomorrow.
So maybe it's 2 weeks away. Anyways, but the hardest thing for me was depression because when I would get in, whether it was, an argument with the wife or the kids were driving me nuts or work or something, I wouldn't want to eat or drink. That was my biggest weakness. And that's what I was trying to cure, and I don't think cultivate's the right word, but that's what I was trying to win that battle. And so those were the hardest times, was when one of those three would cause me to not want, would cause my depression to flare up. Or, during the program, there's the dark days. And some of those had the same issue where I'm like, I don't want to do shit. I don't want to eat. I don't want to drink. But I'm like, I'm not failing this. Like, I'm not letting myself down.
Right.
Because I didn't go into the program thinking, I'm going to try this. I went into the program saying, I'm doing 75. I'm finishing this. It's like I told my wife towards the beginning. I said, I'm finishing 75 hard this year. She's like, this year in 75 days. I said, well, in 75 days, I'm finishing it, but I'm also going to finish it this year regardless of what happens.
Right.
Doesn't matter. But that was the biggest challenge for me, was the food and water. And so the hardest parts were when I felt depressed and I didn't want to eat or drink, but then I still ended up hitting all my goals. And some of those days I almost surpassed my water goal more. And I mean, my food I didn't go over, but I kept that very in check on that one. But the water, I'm like, well, apparently today I drank more.
Right.
That's good for me. And there was times that like I would finish my water, and if I didn't go in and track it right away, and I thought about it, I'm like, shit, I got to drink another one. I don't remember if I added that in or not, and I'm not gonna cheat myself and say I did. Like, so there was probably a handful of days or more that I drank the gallon plus even more, because I'm like, well, I don't remember if I counted that, so I can't count that. That I'm like, I can't count that. I told the story too. I think I told the story about, gotten a little bit of an argument with the guy on Instagram over nothing. Like, it was all so I could continue seeing the notification. Let's just be honest. Let's call it what it is. And my wife was actually reading 75 hard at the same time. Because like 2 days later, she read the part that he goes, there's no breaks. So, and I'm like, well, at the end of the day, you make your own choices when you come to how you go through the program. But I couldn't have felt good with myself if I'd have been on my outdoor workout and my kids needed me at 30 minutes. Like if they were screaming, crying, had really needed me and couldn't come to me, I would have had to start over. There's no way I could have done it. Same with like the gym. If I'd have got to call it 30 minutes in, 45, 40 minutes in that I needed to come home and deal with something right then, I can be like, well, I got 5 minutes. I'd be like, okay, I'll be home.
Right.
There was a few times I was late up here because I didn't plan my morning, and I'd hit the gym right before, and I'm like, oh shit, I got 40. This is 45 minutes, and I got 10 minutes to get up there.
Right.
But I still got to leave the gym.
Right.
So there was definitely things I I need to tighten up next time just to feel more efficient. But it's still been life changing. Like,
And I'd recommend you to take notes on
Yeah.
this next one. Use it, because I didn't use it the first time either.
yeah,
But I
hadn't
took
thought
notes
about
on this
that.
last one, and like day one, I said it was difficult to get my water intake. I tried to make an excuse to complain. My water bottle was confiscated at the airport yesterday, Monday, making it hard to meet my goal. I got it done. Life will always throw some wrench into your life, but when you really need to get something done, you will find a solution in action. Life isn't always optimal. Because this was, I started at 75 hard, and I'd gone to the airport somewhere, and then they taken my water bottle, and so I didn't have my big. So I'm opposite to you. I can't do those little ones. It bothers me because it's easier for me to track, right?
Yeah.
For me. So I get the biggest one, not the biggest one, but it's like 40 something ounces. So I know, okay, I need to drink 3 of these throughout the day or whatever. I feel like I would forget how many did I have. And the little ones, like I had 8, it's too much. My brain is like that big.
Yeah.
It can only store so much information. So
Shout out to the First Format for helping me track all that shit, to be honest with you.
And so
If you
the notes will help, man.
Yeah.
I started going through it, and like today was tough. Thoughts of quitting and making excuses. The gym was tough. Had no motivation, pushed through, got it done.
There was a handful of days where I would dread going for the walk. Because to get up, like we've talked about in the past, to get up, come do this, or go to the gym at 4:30 in the morning and shit, just is easy. Like, sounds shitty when you think about it, but it's easy. Get up, everybody's asleep, nobody's awake. It doesn't disturb your family time, doesn't disturb your time.
Nope.
But that walk on a Saturday afternoon, when it's not only is it cold, it's windy, your family's like all bundled up, all happy in their blankets, and you're having a good Saturday, and you're like, fuck, I gotta go walk.
It's putting your shoes on. For
yeah.
me, it was always, I was like, oh.
Well, that was the thing. Like, I'd get all ready, and I'd look at her, and the wife's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, yeah, you got a point. Let's just go. Like, and I would. And there's a handful of times I'd message her and be like, fuck, I really don't want to do this. She's like, but why? I'm like, I don't know. I would rather be home. I don't want to be out here. She's like, well, have a good walk.
That's funny.
But I'd also respond with, I'm not quitting. I'm just fucking complaining, okay?
Let me complain.
Yeah, let me have this for half a second, please. Because there wasn't a negotiation when it came to that shit. Like, I just did it.
Right.
And it got to the point that I didn't think about it. Like, I did a ruck with between 20 and 30 pounds. When I jacked my back up, I lowered the weight because it was sitting on my back weird. And there was a handful of times. I think I only did the bike like 3 or 4 times. But if worse come to worse, I knew that that's what I was doing. I had the stationary bike. Like, I'd planned this long before all that. Like, I got the bike upstairs and shit in case I needed it. And that first 40, I think I only did it like 3 times. So shout out to you people that can do those, because especially for an extended amount of time, because to hell with that. I mean, I did it because it was hard. I remember doing it 2 days in a row, and shout out to Will Grumpke, because I had talked to him, instant message him, talked to him a little bit. I was like, yo, that bike's rough. And he's like, yeah, I'm back at it again. And I was like, shit. that mindset where you're just like, well, I guess I'm doing it too. Like, and I didn't have to. I could have
Right.
gone and rucked, but like, well, I guess it is what it is. I mean, and there was one day that I could have gone for a walk, and it might have been that day, but I was like, well, I got to that point where it's like if my mind said to do something, I'd almost do it. By almost do it, I would do it unless I'd done it multiple times already. Like I tried to only do it once or twice. Kind of that power of one more type thing. Like, well, you can go down this street, take the one more extra, go down this street, get a little bit extra. And that was that time where I'm like, well, my mind thought I should do the stationary today, and I'm going to feel like a bitch if I grab my backpack and go ruck when I kind of said to myself, you should do the stationary. Like, go through that torture one more time.
Right.
The wife came out and did some exercise and shit in the driveway, and we're both laughing and it was shortly after her surgery, so she wasn't fully cleared. We're both just laughing because we're like, man, what do people think? We're driving by, she's stretching on the grass and shit, and I'm on a bike. We're like, these people are probably laughing at us. Like, what the hell are these weirdos doing? But I mean, we were doing it, and there was a few times that bike there, I think it was that might have been the next time I got on it. That time just flew by. Like I'm like, holy shit, it's already been 30 minutes. Like it was just it was a peaceful night out there. So those were tough, man. Fuck,
Yeah.
that bike sucks. There was time I went for a bike ride too, because it was a nice day.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I'm gonna do something different today. I'm gonna go for a bike ride, like pedal bike. I don't pedal bike. I haven't for years. I was like, okay, have fun. So I went and did our trail. Actually, it was the day after we did our community ruck.
Okay.
I went and hit that trail with the bike. And I texted her, I was like, where we stopped, 7 minutes. And she's like, yeah, you're going a lot faster. I'm like, I know. It's crazy. I said the farthest we've ever walked, 11 minutes. Like
Wow.
I ended up, I didn't even know, like I know the trail's long. I ended up partially lost. But then part of me, like, there's an equestrian part of it too, where horses and stuff can go. So it's just rocks and dirt. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, two things: one, less people; two, harder. So you end up on the rocks.
Right.
God, I ended up in the middle of fuck. I got lost as shit out there because the trail wound different ways. I mean, I found my way home easy, but I was like, this was rough.
Right.
But
That's
it's about
awesome.
doing the hard things.
You got to.
You kind of have to.
So, what's what was the closest failure you came to?
So it was, I think, day 70. I mean, I made a post about it. You saw the post. I know you liked the post. Can't remember. It was right towards the end. It was literally days before the end. I'd got the water like we talked about. I needed 16 ounces to hit my goal. And it was like 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night or something like that. So I filled it up. But where I messed up was I didn't go the 18 and just chug 90% of it right there. I filled the whole thing up. So I'm like, oh, I think I filled it up at like 8. I was like, man, I'm doing good today. I got this. And I drank. Luckily, I needed 16 ounces, and I drank 16 ounces. And when I woke up in the morning, hadn't thought much of it. Woke up in the morning, and I picked my water bottle up, and there was water in it. My heart sank. I was like, you've got to be shitting me. Like, I know I needed just enough to finish this. And I'm like, well, did brush my teeth, got ready, went down, went out to the kitchen, and it was 4:30 in the morning because I'm getting ready to go to work. And I turned the light on, and I'm looking at my water bottle, and from the 28 down to the 12, I drank exactly 16 ounces, just enough to get me to finish my day, technically. I was like, holy shit. So then that day, I'm like, hey, I'm pounding my water. Like, I'm making sure this shit's done. I am so close to finishing. It's not even funny. That was the closest.
Okay.
Like, because I had the food, I had the water, like, I had all that stuff. There was one day I got pretty close with my food. Like, I had my food, but I didn't eat one thing, but I'd already hit my protein goal anyways, and that's what I was going off of. So I'm like, okay. And I was just eating those others to bring my calories up. They were still healthy protein wise, and I would have got more protein, but I'm like, okay, I still hit my protein. So I'm golden what I did.
Right.
I'm like, that one could have gone either way, but I'm like, technically I hit the goal that I wanted to hit. I just was a little lower on the calories that I was shooting for that day. Not that I had I did mine off of a high protein. Just that's what I did. And next time I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm starting again May 1st with the wife. We're gonna do it together, but and I'm not sure what I'm going for there. But I went high protein, so I had a minimum I had to hit, and then I wanted to get if I wanted to get my calories up higher, I would focus on a protein. A little less protein, but everything was clean as I could possibly be.
Right.
Which that was the easiest part because we're already eating pretty damn clean anyways. So
Nice. What about okay, so we talked about the closest failure. What about the craziest, like what if you look back and you're like, man, people probably think I'm insane.
there was a few days where I went out and walked when it was snowing pretty hard. Come in, the beard's all completely white. And I remember the second time I was out there, and it got really shitty fast. But I remember feeling so empowered during that time. Like nobody's out walking, nobody's out driving, nobody's out doing the shit. Andy's talked about it, how you just feel you kind of feel on top of the world when you're doing that. You feel fucking great. And I made a post about it, and I was energetic as hell about that one.
Yeah.
So, what about you? What was your closest failure? Do you remember? I know it's harder because it's been.
There was a few, but yeah, the first one was the Provo. So
Yeah,
for the people that don't know, we have a business on the side that we go to meetings and stuff like that. And this one was a late night. It was kind of an all day event, and we ended up. I think it was like day 60 something, and yeah, it was late at night. I procrastinated my workout, my second my outside workout, and long story short, we were driving on the way home from Provo, and I live in West Jordan, so it's like a 45-minute drive. By the time we got home, it was like 11 something, and I was like, I still got to do my outside workout. I'd had it all day. This was like a Saturday, so it was like an all-day event. I'd been out all day. I'd hit everything else, and then yeah, I came home and I was like, freak, there, I'm gonna fail. I'm not. It's gonna hit midnight. So I start Googling stuff. You have to finish before midnight, and Andy says as long as before you lay your head in the pillow, you get it done. So I went. And the funny thing is I was doing this as I was doing my workout. So I was like, even if I fail, technically, I know that I did it, and so I would restart. But I was like internally, like I at least feel good that I at least did it.
Right.
And ended up finding out that as long as you get it done before. So I was like 12:10 or something when I got it done, and so midnight. And so I had to do an outside ruck from we walked that path.
Yeah.
So I did that path in the middle of the night, and that was probably one of the closest ones that I was just like, it would have been easy to just come home and be like, you know what, I failed and just restart. But I can't do that. Like it's not that hard. I just got to go out and do a ruck and come back home and come to my comfortable bed.
So the second time, because I know the second time changed you a lot more. Right at the end, did you feel like just throwing it away just to start back over? Like just saying, fuck it, I'm going to start back over I've
wanted to do that a few times, to be honest. I just say, I'm just going to redo it.
Yeah.
Because it gets you in a different mindset. Like, because I work off of like, okay, timelines. So if I got 75 days, I'll work it all the way through, and I'm like 75 days. So that's why it's so helpful to go phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and all that other stuff, because you can kind of navigate your timeline of what you're gonna do. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, there was like day when we went to the game, I was like, because I haven't had soda.
Yeah,
and I was telling the wife, because even yesterday I'm like, I'm off of the program, like I could get a soda. I didn't. because I'm like, I'm not craving that. Like, same with like Nerds Clusters. Them damn things, like, to hell with whoever created them because they're freaking amazing. But I looked at them and I'm like, ooh, I'll have one of those. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. And I had a cheesecake, like tiny little half a slice of cheesecake, which, I mean, it's not super unhealthy. It's graham cracker cheese and some freaking strawberry on top. Like, it's not bad. So I had half of that. I had that yesterday. Shout out to Momo's Cheesecake in South Jordan. They're
That is
fantastic.
hilarious. Gary was just telling me about this yesterday.
So
Last night.
freaking good.
So have you been to Momo's? I'm like, no, I don't really like cheesecake. He's like, you should go to Momo's.
You should go to Momo's.
Like,
So shout out to Momo's,
shout
guys.
out Momo's.
This is not, I get nothing from them, but they are fantastic. Went there last night because she's like, I'd like you to have one piece with me. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll have one with you. Because during the day, I'm like, that. She's like, well, what are you going to do to celebrate? I'm like, I don't know. Get up, go to the gym. She's like, that's not celebrating. I'm like, I bought a shirt. She's like, okay, but what do you want to do? I'm like, because tacos sounded really good. And I changed to sopas because they're a lot lighter and a lot healthier. And I'm like, I'll get tacos Saturday. Like, why not? And then I'm going to pick up the food. And she's like, well, you're getting the tacos, right? I'm like, well, what are you getting? She's like, I'm doing the sopas. I'm like, yeah, just do those. She's like, I'm surprised. And I told her when I got home, I'm like, you have all these thoughts, but then it's like they come down to execute that. It's not shitty food because it was still cleaner food. But I'm like, you go down to execute that food and you're just like, no, I'm good. I like this. And damn, they were fucking great last night too, by the way. The sopas were fantastic. But, it's just, you get in that mindset where you're like, yeah, it sounds good, but I don't need it. I don't want it. I'll get something different. Like,
Right.
And like, it's like the cheesecake was good. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like, I didn't need it. She wanted to have a dessert with me. So I'm like, I'll have a dessert with you. Like,
Yeah.
that's fine.
That's awesome.
Didn't derail anything. I
Yeah.
went a little over on my calories yesterday and a little bit lower on protein. But, we ate 2 meals that were healthy meals, but they were higher in calories. So
Right.
took most of my calories away for that day. But I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah. Get back on it.
Yeah.
And I gotta share this story because this is why I said the second one or the last one was the most.
Yeah.
The one that I completely just got everything out of it. So, I mean, I have a regular day-to-day job, and then I do the business on the side. So, we were for my day job, we were traveling. We were going to Vegas, and it was like day 40, 50, something like that. And I was like, no, it was probably further. It was like 60, 50, 60. And I'm like, dang, what am I going to do? Like, and I'd already known about this trip. I knew when I started 75 hard, I was like, I'm going on this trip. Like, I know that, and it's a work trip. So I'm like, I can't take my ruck. I can't take weights. I can't, so I'm like, okay, the hotel has a gym. I could do the inside there. I'm in Vegas, dude. I have my backpack that I took, my work backpack. I put everything I had, like anything heavy. I took stuff for the hotel. The Bible was in there. I took anything, my laptop, anything that was heavy, I took with me, and I was rucking like on the strip, dude. Like, I'm like, people were probably like, who the hell? Why is this guy even doing this? Like,
They probably didn't think anything of it.
well, they're probably, I mean, they're all kind of crazy out there anyways,
Yeah.
but I'm waking up at 4:30 because I had the day, I think it was like a Wednesday. I had a workout, right? And then I had meetings starting like at I don't know what time it was, like 10 a.m. or something like that. So I was like, dang, okay. So I got to make the gym. I got to hit their gym. And then at night, after all the meetings, so at like 11 p.m., I got to go do my ruck through the strip. these probably like I'm like people are like I'm in shorts doing a workout on the strip, and then on the way back, I was at the airport, so I woke up early enough. We had meetings, so I was like, I'll do my outside workout first because I knew that I
Walk
wouldn't
around
be. I would.
the
Yeah,
airport.
yeah. I was in the Las Vegas airport doing this back and forth, back terminal, 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 terminal. And the only reason I did it twice. So I did it once when I left. The first time when I was going to Vegas, I didn't have enough time to do an inside workout, and so I did from terminal.
Good
The,
thing Salt Lake
it's
International
so
is like
it's so
25 miles long.
well. Salt Lake, the inside terminals where I was at, and I'd have to look at my watch because they recorded it. It was like 8 minutes one way, and then 8 minutes back. People, I was like worried because I was like, dude, someone's gonna think like I'm like some, you know what I mean? Like, it's an airport, dude. I was worried like security's gonna come up and be like, what are you doing? Like, why are you like? Can I help you with something? Because I was just nonstop. I was sweating.
Bored.
I had like my dress stuff on because we were hitting Vegas to go to a meeting. So I'm like, I am in like a full suit. So I took my jacket off. I have like, slacks and a dress up shirt. I rolled it up. I'm freaking sweating. Like at that point and on my way back, and I did it again at Vegas, I was like, yeah, I know who I am now. Like,
Yeah.
like people thought I was probably insane. Like this, what the hell is this guy doing? Like I said, I'm dressed up, dude. I got freaking dressed. Granted, my feet were blistered up and they hurt. I came home and Taylor's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "My feet are wrecked."
Yeah.
She's like, "Why did you do that?" I was like, "Well, the first night, when I the first day, I had like I'm not gonna change my shoes in the middle of the airport. My bag's is gone, so all I had was dress shoes. So I was like, I got to do it. And so I knew like this is what it is. Like people thought I was probably insane, but I'm like, I don't care.
Moral of the story is dress shoes need to be more comfortable to walk in.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
So you just have to get it done. Like,
Yeah.
people are going to make excuses. And I know that we've talked about this and you see the groups and it's like, oh, dude, like
they drive
just
me freaking crazy.
You got to get it done. Like, I don't care what you do. Like, did I want to piss? Yeah. But was I going to stop at the airport and be like, I'm going to go to the bathroom? No, I walked 50. I did 50 minutes because I am like, so I worry about those types of things. Like what you say, like I drank, right. There was days where I was like, I'm pretty sure I drank 6 of these things because I was like, I don't remember. I really don't.
Right.
I was like, and I don't know. So I'm just going to do 3. And then by the time it was like probably 5 or whatever. And I'm like, what's it going to do? And so you have to, 75 hard is going to show you so many different things, but you have to be willing to accept them to what you're trying to do on a day-to-day basis. And the more that you can do that, the more that you can take the disciplines, the self-confidence, the habits that you create during this program, like you can apply it to everything.
You can.
Like it's so helpful. And that was my story. I think that was the biggest thing this last time. I was like, dang, like I probably look like an insane person, but I don't care.
You learn you don't care. Like you said, you don't care what people think of you. You're getting your shit done regardless of what anybody says. You learn that you can still enjoy your life while living these standards. I mean, between the books I read in the program, you learn to not take people's shit and you understand what are excuses. I mean, this is only me going through it once and I'm already feeling these ways.
Yeah.
Like I don't accept people's excuses anymore, which is why I have a lot harder time tolerating things now. I'm kind of nervous what my wife's going to go through, but it's going to be fun to do it with her.
That'll be super fun.
You know, we were talking yesterday and I'm like, I was at work and I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I'm having chicken and rice for dinner. And people are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, dude, it's great.
Yeah.
Never used to want to eat chicken and rice. Chicken and rice with homemade Alfredo sauce, all of it very healthy. Freaking amazing. Like, such good food. Like, it's amazing how you go through this and you learn, okay, you start eating the stuff and you're like, damn, this stuff's pretty good. Like, you can freak it out a little bit, add a little bit of spice here or there, whatever, and you're like, damn, this is good. But at the end of the day, like, the food's good. If you make good food, the food's good regardless.
Yep.
You learn, and it's been life-changing. I can't wait to do it again.
You guys will do great. You kill it. You both will. So it'll be amazing.
Excited. I'm excited to just keep going, doing what I'm doing. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, you're gonna?" No, I don't know what to celebrate. I don't know how to celebrate. And I was talking to a coworker about what we're doing. Next week with our, getting the guys together at Top Golf. He's like, "You gonna have a beer?" I'm like, "I hadn't even thought about it." If if 11 out of the however many people the majority is, yeah, I might, but. We'll see. I don't know. I haven't got that far yet. That's next Saturday. I'm worried about today.
Yeah. I don't think drinking's not leaving your.
No.
Yeah, it's not your.
I'm not very big on it. I might have a beer, but
that was hard for me though, to be honest. Luckily, I kind of already broken it, but I bet you if I would have done it like when I was in my dark days,
yeah,
I probably would have failed with drinking stuff for sure. But no, man, I'm proud of you, dude.
Thanks.
I'm proud of you, and keep fucking killing it, dude. It'll be interesting and fun to watch you and your wife do it, and
I'm excited.
And you guys will kill it and do great. So, I'm grateful for you for sharing Andy with me.
And I appreciate you taking and listening to it,
and appreciate him and all the efforts that he puts in, and the program has helped a lot, and it's going to continue, and I know. I'll probably do one at the end of the year again, right? Another momentum builder into 2025. Whoa, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that.
So that's kind of my plan, but it'll be great, man. It's gonna be a great year. I'll watch you guys do it, and maybe eventually we'll have a group of people just doing it at the same time. And
yeah,
that'd be crazy. I know people have tried it, but people make excuses, but I know that we'd get the right people in and try to do it. So, but anything else you want to hit on, man? I think we had a lot of stories. A lot of it is just our personal experiences with it, and we talked about what it kind of gave us, which is confidence, and why we started, which was kind of the same for us. We wanted to just get something done. And
what's your challenge for him this week?
Start 75. No,
do the program. No.
Do the program. And I was gonna hit on that too. People that are saying that I'm going to try 75 hard, you did hit on that. You're already failing. You're already failing. Like, I agree. I never came in and was like, I'm going to try it. Like, because I'm doing it. That's with anything, though.
Yes.
Don't say I'm going to try. Just say I'm going to do it and I'm going to get it done. Yeah. Even if you have that slight thought of, like, I might fail, who cares? Let yourself fail. Let yourself do it.
You're going to learn something.
You got to commit. You got to go in all the way. So
I've told a few people that Facebook group drives me nuts sometimes.
Get out of it.
I should. I really should.
I can't.
There's one couple in there though that's been pretty inspiring. Them and their kid, they're doing the shit right now.
Killing it.
As far as social media can tell me, they're doing great, and I like seeing that. And that's why I've stayed. But yeah, some guy had posted that he was like, I'm gonna try 75 hard, and the first thing I put was I said don't try. If you're doing it, especially if you're doing it whatever reason, do it. Right. Don't try. Take that word out of your vocabulary.
You have to.
So
a challenge. Dang.
Share the show. No.
Yeah. Share Andy show. No, but I would agree. Yeah, I mean, I'm no way connected with Andy. We're no way, and he doesn't even know our names, I would say. But yeah, if I ever share anything in of his, just take a listen, because that would be my challenge. Listen to the episodes and the stuff that we share from other people. This isn't something that the podcast is obviously, this is our podcast. We're pouring our information out here, but a lot of this stuff is coming from people that we've heard and things that we've done. But if we share the show, if we share Andy's show, like, take a listen, because
there's a reason we're sharing it.
Yeah, there's nuggets in there. And I don't mean to share it because oh, like I just want to take up the capacity of Instagram and bombard you with posts, but it's because I heard something in there that I feel like a lot of people are missing in today's society and really need to take a listen. So that's what I would say is just take the time to listen. If you see my post, and I will continue, I'll post something every time this week. Take a listen to one of Andy's episodes, even if it's episode 1, even if it's he used to do those short ones,
Real talks.
3 minutes, kind of 4 minutes. Just listen, take a listen because you're gonna hope he will say something that will connect with you. So
To me, I'll go a little more simple. If you guys are doing any sort of gym, any sort of life changes, start taking progress photos, and on Ben's note, take notes, because you'll look back and man, the differences you see are inspiring to yourself and can be inspiring to others. And like I said, I'll post my day 1 to day 2, because one of them has day 2, because I didn't like my day 1. I was flexing. It looked like a douche. And it's not a true progress photo when you're doing it that way. But take some before and afters. Guys, so many times my wife's like, I wish I'd have done it, and I wish I'd have done it when I started. But they'll just do simple. If you're doing life-changing stuff, workouts, going to the gym, start taking some before and after, and be raw about it. Like they're not fun, but be raw about it, guys, and share them. Yeah, it's vulnerable, but you're going to help somebody, I promise.
yep, I love it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys. Love you guys, and another great episode, man.
Have a good week.
Talk to you guys soon. Bye.